Today we're going to discuss and revisit the different water forms of our planet Earth. So, a wonderful morning, evening, or good day to everyone. So basically to you, my audience, my students, would like to know the importance of these water and land features because these are the settings of the development of the earliest civilizations on Earth. We have to know the symbiotic relationship between space, place, and development of humanity and civilization, therefore. So we have to take a look at the vital roles of places or of our natural habitat to the development of humanity. Okay, so before we have to discuss those big topics, definitely we have to situate ourselves into our physical environment, into our physical space, to where we live. These are the places where there are resources that enable development. I repeat, we situate ourselves. We chose to live. Our predecessors or ancestors chose to live in a place that has resources, or that humanity can be sustained, or that these resources can sustain their lives as well for survival. So we have to take a look at the important role of these landforms and sea forms. So when we talk about sea forms or water forms, we are talking about these part of the earth that is composed of water, or from our environment. These features that has a flow of water, might be fresh water or salt water anyway, somehow. So around us we can actually see all of these water forms, but we have to take a look at this particular chart and pay attention on to this matter. Okay, so we have here 45 types of bodies of water. So we have arroyo. Arroyo is actually a Spanish term. We have a bay, and we have bayou, we have a bight, bourne, burn, canal, channel, cove, creek, delta, distributary. Distributary refers to a river which is divided into various streams, and that is like having one river system, and then it will be split into several distributary or units until they get their outpour to the ocean. We also have firth, we have fjord, we have gulf, we have harbor, kettle, lagoon, and many more. Okay, so we will just have to take a look at the most important ones, and not all of these waters are really atypical or somehow can be seen in one region or another. For example, in Australia, you can typically see more billabong. A billabong is in a way a lake, but it's different. A billabong is actually somehow like a spring, but they have this sort of a different aspect that make them different from a lake. Here is an arroyo. You get to see here a picture. It's from a Spanish word. So arroyo is actually a creek in a desert. A creek in a desert. You can actually see these land features in Central and South America, Mexico, and Southwestern United States. You can see barracois. What are these? It's a shallow lagoon that's bounded in on at least one side by a sandbar. This is actually a sandbar. And then here's a barracois. This is more evident, or you can see a lot of this in Canada. And it's also used in British English. Yeah, definitely. It's a mixture of French and Basque language. Basque is an ethnic minority. I am sorry for saying that. It's actually an ethnic identity in Spain. Bay. So typically a bay is less shallow. Yeah, it's not that deep as compared to a gulf, and it's the best or most ideal port. Bays are most ideal ports. So basically, in the Philippines, we have Manila Bay. We have also Laguna de Bay. We also call it that way. But most of the ports that we have are actually at base. We also have the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority. The Subic Bay itself is a former U.S. naval base. So we get to see that these water forms played an important role not only in our social development, but into our strategic development and military power. So you get to see here the importance of space and place to maintain power, to maintain finance, trade, and livelihood. Next, we have a bayou. Oh, this is so enchanting. Yeah, definitely it is. A beck, it looks like a river. A bite. You can see more of this, I think, in Canada and Australia. And this is a billabong in Australia. It's a type of oxbow lake. A brook, we have this in tropical forests in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. A brook, or it can also be called a bourne. We also have a burn. I think we have this in the Philippines as well. I have seen such. There are mountain in Sierra Madre. I think we have this. We also have it in, I think, parts of Banahaw, Mount Banahaw. And I haven't explored the islands in the Visayas and Mindanao yet, but probably in Bukidnon we could actually find this water form. Canal is actually a man-made body of water used as a passageway for transport of people and mobility. Channel. This one is the English channel. The term channel is generally used to describe wide waterways that flow between two islands or other land masses. So basically, you can actually, take a look into this particular website and read it on your own. We also have a cove, and this is a beautiful lighthouse. And in Batanes, we also have this cove. In Bulinaw, in Pangasinan, we have what we call Bulinaw Cove or Bulinaw Cave. It's the same thing. There is actually a beautiful lighthouse there that was built in the 19th century. You can try to visit there, document your visit, and enjoy the scenery. Creek. This is in Switzerland. So fantastic. A delta. This is a river delta. If you want to take a look at the Angalacan River in the Philippines in Northern Luzon, we actually somehow refer to it as Agno River Delta. Let's go to Google Earth. So the advantage of using satellite or Google Earth is that we could actually see a specific location from afar and use the satellite to locate a particular place. Okay, so this is Pangasinan here. So the Agno River actually starts from this side. And this is actually season. Baguio City somehow. The water here is the Sinukalan River. Here, you can see the Agno River here. Pinsal Falls in San Nicolas, you get to see here the Agno River flowing. The Agno River Reservoir. This is the San Roque Power Corporation. Okay, so let's move. Alright, this area becomes a delta. Agno River Delta. We call this Agno River Delta. And there is another river here, the Ambayawan River, coming from, I think this one is coming from Caraballo Mountains, still in Pangasinan. Then they merge somewhere here. In our local language, we call this merging here as sabangan. Okay, so basically this area is the most fertile area for rice production because we have a water source, the Agno River. So you get to see that the Agno River played a very important role in the development of agriculture among the earliest settlers in this particular place or province. So there is actually an ethnographic study that says that the people who migrated to the Philippines actually live somewhere here, Agno River Delta, because there is a resources. There is a food resource. There is actually a river, a water source for food. They could actually fish. They could grow crops and more. So agriculture was the first technology that we have, that we use to sustain our survival, to live and survive. Okay, so here, the Agno River flows here to Alcala, Bayambang, and this becomes the Agno River Delta. So you could actually see the portion here of the river that splits into two. This is what we call tributary. So this becomes a river as well, irrigating this vast farmland. Central Luzon, we have it here, the river. And the Agno River flows here, Urbistondo, San Carlos, and finally find its way out to the Lingayen Gulf. So that is the structure of the Agno River. So this area is called Agno River Delta, this fertile land area for crops production or for rice production. So you could actually see that we could discuss these things to our students in the elementary level or in the high school level, and we could actually see the advantage of using Google Earth or Planet Earth, or this particular site to explain things. And so they can experience mapping. They can also experience firsthand the things that you discuss in class. Okay, so let's move forward. This is a tributary. It's like a river delta. Estuary. We have this in Zambales, and I think we also have it in Dasul, Pangasinan, and Bolinao. This is a fort. You could actually find more of these water forms in Canada and in Europe, I guess. Gulf, we have the Lingayen Gulf. Okay, so the difference between a gulf and a bay is that bay are more shallow than gulf. A gulf is deeper than a bay. This is a harbor, an inlet, a kettle lake, a lagoon. And to mind you that we don't only have rivers that we could actually see in the farmlands, we also have underwater river. And if we talked about the Palawan Subterranean River Park or Natural Park, this is actually a magnanimous experience. It's a fit in geographic diversity of the Philippines. So if you have time and opportunity to explore the Philippines more, please visit the underground river in Palawan. So river is not only about those water forms that in the surface, but also those underground. We have a marsh. A marsh is actually an ideal hub for migratory birds, or we could also say or call this as swamps. In Luzon, we have Pampanga swamps or Candaba swamp. We call it Candaba swamp, and migratory birds travel from the north, like China, Japan, and Siberia. These migratory birds travel south and they go down to Taiwan or the Philippines and Indonesia, where there is enough food and they can escape or momentarily live in warmer countries or in the south. Then when the winter is finished, they go back to the north. This is a moat. A moat is a man-made lake which is used to protect a castle. The ocean, a pond, which could also be a man-made, a reservoir or a dam, but practically it's more technical to use the word reservoir, a river, and a sea. So these are the land and sea features of our planet Earth. Now I repeat, people live in places that could help them sustain their life for survival, development, and agricultural production.